Hi. I don't know how to film a freaking intro because it feels like a confessional. Hello, my name's Becca. I'm 30 years old. I live in St. Albert, Alberta, Canada with my husband, 2 doodles and cat, and I love to read. So I've been wanting to make a booktube for about 2 years now, and I started a bookstagram last spring. So buckle up. We're going to be talking about favorite reads, reviews, local finds, you name it. And my goal is to post at least once a week, preferably 2 times a week, but we're going to start with 1, see how she goes, because I do work 2 jobs and life happens. We ran out of wine. So it's a tragic day. But we are going to get started. We are going to be doing 25 books that I want to read in 2025. Now, I love a physical copybook, but I also like to read on my Kindle, listen to audiobooks, and predominantly romance, fantasy, and thrillers. I want to dip my toe into horror this year, so I have a couple of those books on this list and on my shelves. And yeah, so there's a couple of singular books, there's a couple of series. The series I'm probably going to count as 1 just because there's a lot of books in said series, and am I going to read them all out once back to back to back? Probably not. But yeah, so starting off strong, we're going to start with Scythe and Sparrow for number 1 by Bryn Weaver. So this is the 3rd and final book in the Ruinous Love trilogy, and it's with Fionn and Rose. Rose is a injured circus performer, and Fionn is the 3rd brother in this series, and he is a surgeon, and he seems quite uptight and not sure on life. So I'm curious to see how their story is going to come together, and it's a brand new release from last month in February. So I am very excited for a dark romance to start with. And then number 2 is Bourbon and Lies by Victoria Wilder. So this is dark romance, but make it cowboy. Basically, in a nutshell, there is a girl who comes to town. There's a few brothers. They don't want her near the family. They've made quiet lives for themselves, but she ends up being everywhere. She's working at the distillery, living in their guest house, calling me cowboy, skinny dipping in my horse trough. Only 2 things have the power to keep her safe: bourbon and lies. So I am excited to see how this goes. That's just a quick little snippet that's on the back. I keep hearing really great things about it. And that leaves me to number 3 on my list, which is Bourbon and Secrets. This is going to be book number 2 in the series, of course. And it is about the brother of that. Bourbon and Lies and Bourbon and Secrets for books number 2 and 3 on my list. Next up is going to be Crash by Frida McFadden. Now, Frida, honey, are you tired? Because you are putting out 2 to 3 books a year, and kudos to you, but you're pumping these out. Take a break, sweetie. You deserved it. This one just came out in January. Now, this is about Tegan. She's 8 months pregnant. Her car breaks down. She breaks her ankle, and there is a couple that finds her, brings her to their cabin, and she thinks it is a huge mistake because something happens. So I am excited. Here in Alberta, it's still pretty snowy, so I want to be able to read this while there's still snow on the ground. I should have read this in January, but I was prioritizing... Hi, honey.
How's your video going?
Well, I'm in the middle of it.
That's a good book.
You want to make a guest appearance?
Oh, hi.
This is Jacob. All right, well, I'm going to have to pause it because I can't...
Which one are you picking? I like the stable pink one.
Sable Peak?
Okay.
Hey, be nice, girls.
Okay, I'm going out.
Okay, have fun.
That could be your...
We're doing 25 books that I want to read in 2025.
What's the thing?
Hmm?
We take a picture of it. And then, like the thing you see...
My thumbnail?
That would be a thumbnail.
Okay.
That's your thumbnail. Yeah, we're gonna go to.
Okay, so I had to take a little intermission, but that is my husband Jacob. He's just dropping off his vehicle and heading back out again. But as I was saying, The Crash. I haven't been able to read it in January because I was prioritizing rereads in order to get ready for Onyx Storm. I live and breathe Fourth Wing series, so that was my priority. But I want to be able to read this in the next month or two before the snow goes away. So that is book number 4 on my list for the year. The next one is going to be North is the Night by Emily Rath. Now, this is the author of the Pucking Around series, and she wrote a fantasy. So I am excited to dip my toe into it because I love her writing. I don't know. I love her writing style. This is supposed to be sapphic. So I'm a big sapphic, wide shoes kind of girly. And this edition is absolutely stunning with the stenciled edges. Like, come on. And she's a hefty girl. 567 pages. So I'm excited. This takes place in Finland. There is 2 friends who are trying to stay alive. There's a witch queen, god of death. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot other than that. I haven't seen a whole lot of reviews lately just because it came out recently, but there wasn't, it hasn't really been picked up on like Book Talk or anything like that. So it's not really spoken about. So I'm excited to see how her fantasy books are. Next is going to be Sleep Tight by J.H. Markert. This is going to be my first horror book. Now, I haven't dipped my toe into horror. I want to. Yeah, I'm excited. Actually, a clear heir to Stephen King is the blurb on the book on the front. So I'm excited. I actually got this one as a gift at Christmas from one of my coworkers. And yeah, so this is basically police finally find a house of horrors. They uncover 19 bodies and 1 survivor. So nearly 2 decades later, there is the serial killer is put to death, and the detective's daughter is now a detective herself and reliving childhood trauma. So yeah, I'm excited. I want to, realistically, I should read this around Halloween, but we will see because I really, really want to get to this soon. It's been on my TBR for the past few months since I got it at Christmas, and I haven't been able to pick it up. I don't know. I think with Onyx Storm and all my other reads for the year, I just haven't gotten around to it. So yeah, but Sleep Tight is the next on that list. Next is going to be the Eden series by Devney Perry. This one we're going to count as 1 because this is a large series. There's also a novella called Christmas in Quincy, so I will probably start with that one first. I should have read that during Christmas because of the vibes. But basically, in a nutshell, this is about a new police chief that is in town. She is there to investigate a murder, and she is trying to prove herself. She ends up sleeping with one of the Eden brothers, and she's basically regretting her life decisions, and she has to earn favor with the Edens. They're going to work together to figure out who the killer is. So the series is kind of like a romance thriller sort of series, and these covers, like, come on, how masterpiece. Whoever did the artwork for these killed it. Absolutely gorgeous. So we have 6 books plus a novella to read for 2025, and I am excited. I just need to figure out how to get started on that. Next, we're going to have the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. So I have the first 3 books in the series. I still need to get a hold of the next 2, but I'm just going to wait to get them. My birthday's coming up in May, so maybe that's an option. I'm in the middle of Gold Rush Ranch series, so I want to finish that first. I have 2 books left to get through. And because it's an interconnected series, I do want to finish that first before I jump into these. So my goal is to get through that around spring and summer and then read these. Number 9 on the list is going to be Holly by Stephen King. Now, this will be another horror book on my list. I also have Fairy Tale by Stephen King, but that one is quite hefty and a little intimidating. So we're going to start with this one. Most of Stephen King's novels have already been turned into movies, like Pet Sematary, Cujo, It, you name it. He's got a million books. Carrie, they've all been made into movies. So I wanted to try something new and different, and this is relatively new. So this is about Penny is a part of Finders Keepers detective agency, and she gets a call saying, hey, I need you to help me find a family member of mine from this lady, and they're reluctant to accept the case, but they do anyways. A couple blocks from where this lady got abducted, they find this house, and there's depravity going on in the basement. So I'm excited to give that a shot. Stephen King can be a little intimidating, so I hear, and we're just gonna dip that toe in. Number 10 on my list is going to be Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. Now, okay, author of Fourth Wing series, come on. So she does a lot of contemporary romances, and she writes a contemporary romance in between each one of her fantasies. So I wanted to give her other books a shot. I also have Variation that's on my TBR cart right here. So that's also on my list, but not a part of 25 for 25. Last Letter. So this is basically 2 military friends. One ends up passing away in combat, and the other one gets a letter from his deceased friend saying, hey, I need you to go help out my sister. She's got 2 kids at home. There's other stuff that she's going through, and she really needs help. I want you to help take care of my family. So that's what the last letter is about. I feel like I'm probably going to bawl in this, and I'm excited. If you did not know, Rebecca Yarros comes from a military family. Her husband was in the military. He is now retired. And a lot of her contemporary romances are about a military type of background, along with her as an author. So Fourth Wing, for example, you have the military aspect, which is her husband, and then you have the scribe quadrant, which is her as an author. So she always kind of does a little bit of a homage to their backgrounds in a way in all of her books. So yeah, so that's the last letter. The next one on the list is, can you guess it? Quicksilver by Kelly Hart. Book talk, come on. I'm gonna read it if it's like ACOTAR. Like, really? Yeah, I'm all about it. What more is there to say? You're gonna sell me on a bandwagon, absolutely. Yeah, I do have the India edition, and we love a good floppy book. I am obsessed with this. Fae, I think vampires. I don't really have a blurb on the back of this because it is the India edition, so I have no clue. But yeah, Fae, I'm in. Book talk, you sold me. The next one is going to be Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. Look, the fact that authors, publishers, we're doing sprayed edges, stenciled edges. Keep it coming. This is also another fantasy. So this one, I actually just picked up around Christmas, actually. So after losing both their parents, Bristol Keats and her sister struggle to stay afloat in their quiet small town of Bowskeep. When Bristol begins to receive letters from an aunt she's never heard of who promises she can help, she reluctantly agrees to meet and discovers that everything she thought she knew about her family is a lie. Her father might even still be alive, not killed, but kidnapped by terrifying creatures and taken to a whole other realm, the one he is from. Desperate to save her father and find the truth, Bristol's journey to land of gods and fae and monsters pulled into a dangerous world of magic and intrigue. She makes a deadly bargain with a fae leader, Tigan. But what she doesn't know is that he's the one who drove her parents to live a life on the run, and he's just as determined as she is to find her father dead or alive. Come on. I'm so sold. I'm realizing now that I have a lot of fantasy books on this list, and of course fantasy books take a lot of brain power, but I'm gonna love it. I feel like I'm gonna love it. So that is the next one on the list. This next one kind of angers me a little bit. I want to read it so badly, but I am going to wait until the next one gets announced, because the Spark of the Everflame series has, I'm not gonna lie, caused a lot of debate and a lot of issues lately. So in a nutshell, these are the indie editions, and Pen Cole, the author, has said that she is going to release the fourth book also indie as well, so everyone has matching covers. Now, the fourth book, Burn, has been on the radar and has already had 2 release dates that have been missed. So it's frustrating. I want to read these so bad, but I want to know when an actual release date for Burn is going to come out, because then I will read these 3, because they are hefty. Everyone says that they're addicting, and I don't want to be caught where I'm in the middle of this great series and then I don't know when the next one's coming out. So I am hoping that this next one, Burn, will be released soon. I know it's already been written, but there is outside factors, I guess, that Pen Cole said has taken into account. So these have since been picked up and traditionally published now. I think Heat has just been released or is about to be released. So I'm excited to see when Burn will come out. But yeah, so this is a bit of a sore spot for a lot of people, because everyone's just so frustrated at the moment because of this missed release date multiple times. I think it's been delayed by like a year and a half already. And yeah, so I'm excited to get to these. They're very, actually quite intimidating, because they're like, the font on this is quite tiny. So yeah, this will be something that I want to get to. I just want a release date for Burn. It doesn't even have to come out. I just want to know when the release date will be, and then I will start them. Number 14 for me is going to be Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I love Ali Hazelwood's writing. I think it is freaking phenomenal. She is great at what she does, doing little standalone books, little romances, and this one is going to be a little different. There's no women in STEM plot behind it, but it does have a diver and a swimmer. They end up meeting, and there's a little bit of a poly sort of situation that happens. I'm excited. I'm going to be actually listening to this one on audiobook, just because I hear the audiobook is fan-freaking-tastic, and I've listened to all of Ali Hazelwood's books on an audiobook version, so I'm going to continue the trend and do that. I do have it reserved on the Libby app, so I'm waiting for that to come available. It says a several month wait. I cannot wait that long, so I will probably get it on Audible or Spotify and just do it that way, because it's too long of a wait and I can't wait that long. Number 15 is going to be a historical fiction. I don't read historical fiction, so this is completely out of my comfort zone, but everyone and their dog has said that this is amazing. A couple of my friends say it's their favorite book, and that's going to be The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. So this is France in the 1930s. Nazis come in and invade Paris. This family has a choice of, hey, either join our war caravan and come live with us, or lose everything. So there is... main character falls in love. She then gets betrayed by her main love interest, and then she becomes a part of a rebellion of sorts. So I'm going to take a chance on a historical fiction, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it with one of the biggest ones out there that everyone's talking about right now. The next one that comes out is going to be The Tenant by Frida McFadden. This one actually comes out on May 6th, so I got quite a bit of time before we get there. And this one is basically about A guy and his fiance, they're struggling to make ends meet because he just got fired from his VP of marketing job, I think it is. And he ends up taking in a roommate. And the roommate ends up basically being shady, and I think the main character has some dark secrets as well, and they are now being uncovered. So that's kind of the gist of it all. And so again, we have another Freida McFadden book. I don't know how she does it, but here we are. Anything that she puts out, I'm gonna read it. As you can tell, I have a couple other of her books on my list here, like The Coworker, Never Lie. I have a few by her. I'm gonna pick up anything that she writes. Let's just be honest here. Book number 17 is gonna have to be A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle L. Jensen. This is book number 2 in the Saga of the Faded series, and I absolutely love the first book. This one comes out May 13th, and the first book is A Fate Inked in Blood. I absolutely devoured this. It was a 5-star read for me. I've never read any Norse mythology before, and I was absolutely blown away. We have fantasy with gods and goddesses, with powers. I loved it. It was so entertaining. I am chomping at the bit to read the next one, so I cannot wait to dive into that. It seems like May and June is going to be a huge new release sort of 2 months, because the rest on this list is going to be like May, June releases. So it's going to be a busy one. The next one that we're going to be talking about is the Windy City series. So that consists of Mile High, The Right Move, Caught Up, Play Along, and the next one in the series, I don't have Play Along quite yet, but the 5th one in the series, Rewind It Back. This one comes out May 20th. May 20th. I'm excited. Sports romance. Yep, sign me up. Hockey romance. I love hockey romances. They can do no wrong to me. Mile High is a hockey romance, NHL. And then next one's going to be Right Move. Oh gosh, the writing on this is awful. NBA, so we got basketball. The third one is going to be baseball. So I'm excited. We're going to count this as one because it's going to be an entire series. So the next one is going to have to be A Primal of Blood and Bone. This sucker is coming out on June 10th, and it is the last and final book of this series. I cannot wait for this series to be done. She was a long and lengthy one with the 2 interconnected series of the prequel versus the sequel. Yeah. She's long, she's lengthy. I feel like a couple of the books in From Blood and Ash, those ones could have done without. I feel like we have a lot of filler books in that series. Flesh and Fire, loved it. Nyctos and Sarah, love them. But From Blood and Ash, I feel like there's a lot of filler books. I remember last year I was reading one of them in the Dominican on the beach, and I read the entire book, but the first 2 chapters and the last 2 chapters is all you needed to know. It was frustrating. So I'm excited for the last book. I, of course, will read it, but I'm excited for it to be done. I want to see how both realms kind of come together. Yeah. I'm sure everyone is kind of tired at this point, but we're going to read it. We're going to hopefully love it. And hopefully it'll be a good ending to this very large series that has been going around for a while. Number 20 and 21, I'm going to rate them differently because I'm going to pick this one up soon, and the second book comes out in June also. But that's going to be Lights Out and Caught Up. This is dark romance, masked men. Okay, all right, sold. I don't know a whole lot other than that. I want to go in blind, but everyone also has been ranting and raving about these. And I have heard a couple of snippets throughout the book, and sign me up. Sign me up. Dark romance. I just finished the Cat and Mouse duet. The the 2 books and the 1 prequel. I haven't read Where's Molly yet. That one is also on my list, but I'm in a dark romance kick lately, so I want to continue reading them. But Lights Out and Caught Up, I want to get to this year. Number 22 on this list is, of course, going to be The Wingman by Stephanie Archer. I absolutely love this series so much. The first 2 books, Behind the Net and The Fake Out, were both 5 stars for me. I absolutely love them. And I am so excited to pick this up and continue with this series. It is hockey romance. This one's going to be about Hayden and Darcy. Hayden and Darcy are best friends. However, Darcy was in a relationship. I think they split up because she has feelings for Hayden. And best friends to lovers. I'm so excited to get into this. I can't rant and rave about this enough. I read the first 2 books the first 2 months of this year, and I am absolutely obsessed, as you can probably tell by my reaction, but I am excited. With that being said, actually, number 23 is going to be Gloves Off, also by Stephanie Archer. This one comes out on June 17th. This one is going to touch base on those characters coming up, and I am so excited. And the last 2 books on this list is going to be When the Moon Hatched, along with A Ballad of Falling Dragons by Sarah A. Parker. I think Ballad of Falling Dragons comes out in October, I want to say. But look at this. She's a chonky boy. There's a glossary and a pronunciation guide at the front. I don't know what any of these words mean, hence the glossary, obviously. But I hear a lot of people have to flip between the book and the glossary quite frequently. So I think the play is going to be listen to the audiobook along with reading the physical copy at the same time, just so I can follow along and comprehend it better and be able to get through the world building easier. So I think that's the play, is to audiobook and physical read at the same time. So that is the last 2 books on my list of 25 reads of 2025. If you've lasted this far in the video, comment down below what your most anticipated read for 2025 is. I want to know. Maybe I'll add it to mine because I have an extensive TBR and I can't help myself at all. I have no willpower or restraint. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. Yeah. Now the most awkward part of this starting out is going to be like and subscribe, share with your friends, tell everyone. Yeah. Hit that bell to receive notifications. Cringe. But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I hope everyone has a wonderful week and we'll see you next Sunday. Bye.